Yes, good morning, ma. Okay. Yeah. In the last class, we have discussed about properties of relations. Prior to that, we have seen what is meant by relation and some of the examples for relations. Like a relation can be defined like this: A or B. Okay, R is the relation, provided the condition if and only if we can say it as IFF is if and only if the condition is like A less than B. This is one of the relation examples of relations, right? We can have A less than or equal to B, or we can have A greater than B. Like this, we can define some condition to satisfy so that A and B are related. Okay, what are these A and B? A and B will be elements of set. Okay, in this we can have A and B like 1 2 3 4. We can have 1 2 3 5. We can have like this some set we are having on this particular set. A is related to itself by using the relation called R. Okay, if it is provided if it satisfies this particular condition A less than or equal to B, then what are the elements that we can have in this? Like what are the tuples which will satisfy this particular relation? Those all will be part of the relation. So R is equal to what we will be having: 1 comma 1. Yes or no? A less than or equal to B, so 1 comma 1 will also be part of this relation. Next, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, 1 comma 5. Similarly, 2 comma, yes, please tell me, 2 comma, this is the condition to satisfy. Can we have 2 comma 1?
Yes, sir.
2 comma 1. 2 comma 1 in the sense 2 less than or equal to 1. It is not
No, sir.
uh, it is not true. So 2 comma 1 will not be part of this relation. 2 comma 2,
No, sir.
2 comma 2, A less than or equal to B. So 2 is
Yes,
less than or equal to 2. Yes or no? Hmm. 2 comma 2 will be part of this relation or not?
yes,
1
sir.
2, yes. Why? Because it will satisfy this condition. Next, similarly, 2 comma 3 will be part 2 comma 5. Next, 3 comma 1,
No, sir.
3 comma 1,
No, sir.
no. 3 comma 2, no. 3 comma
No,
3,
sir.
yes.
Yes,
3
sir.
comma 5, yes. 5 comma 1, no. 5 comma 2, 5 comma 3, no. 5 comma 5, yes. So like that we can define what relation. Okay, next let us consider properties of relations which we have seen in previous class. Like reflexive relation. Okay, relation is said to be reflexive if a comma a belongs to the relation. Okay, a comma a tuple belongs to the relation for all a belongs to a. Let us consider a is equal to 1 2 3 4. Then what are the tuples we should have in R to claim that R as the reflexive? A is equal to 1 2 3 4. Then what are the tuples we should have in R?
1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4.
Yeah, 1 1 2 2 3 3 3 4 4. These tuples should be present in R. Apart from that, from these four tuples we can have several other tuples, but these four should be present in the relation. Then we can claim that relation as reflexive. Okay, next, for example, out of these four tuples, try to understand, we'll go with the same example. A is equal to 1 2 3. Out of the four tuples like 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4, we are having only 3. Can we consider it as a reflexive?
No, sir.
No. Can we consider it as irreflexive?
Yes, sir.
Irreflexive, what is the definition of irreflexive? Relation on a set A is irreflexive if A is not related to itself for every A. But in our example, 1 1 2 2 3 3, we are saying belongs to R, so it is not irreflexive as well. Understand the point? If all are present, then we can say it as reflexive. If all are not present, then we can say it as irreflexive. But if some only present, then we can say it as it is not reflexive. Understand? Of course, it is not irreflexive as well. Understand the difference? Suppose we are having the relation like 1 comma 1 and just 1 comma 2. That's it. On the set a is equal to 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 also. Set is 1 2 3 4. Now is this reflexive? Definitely not. Why? Because 2 2 3 3 4 4 we don't have. Next, is this irreflexive? For that also no. Why? Because for every we are having the counter case for this condition, right? A comma a is not should not be related to itself for every a belongs to a, but 1 is related to 1, right? So it is violating the condition, so it is not irreflexive as well. Understand the difference? Yes. Shall I repeat? Yes, please respond, ma. Hussein, is it clear? Manohar, shall I repeat, or is it it is clear to you?
Please repeat it.
Okay. So now the reflexive, irreflexive, and reflexive, not reflexive, irreflexive, and not irreflexive. These are things needs to be what you call known to you. Reflexive. Now I'll ask one question. Try to answer. If a relation is not irreflexive, can we claim that as a reflexive?
No, sir.
No. Okay. If a relation is not reflexive, if a relation is not reflexive, can we claim it as not irreflexive as well? Always?
No, sir. No, sir.
No. Can you give an example? If a relation is not reflexive, but it should not be not reflexive, not irreflexive. Counter case is just this one, excluding this one. If you have relation like 1 comma 2, it is not reflexive, so first condition is satisfied. Now we have to show, that is p implies q, we have to show p is true. Now what we have to claim, it is not irreflexive as well. So it is irreflexive. That's what we can claim. It is irreflexive, right? For every a belongs to a is not related to itself, so we can consider it as irreflexive. So this is true. Got my point? So there can be relation. Totally, what we can conclude is some relations can be reflexive, some relations can be irreflexive, some relations can be not reflexive, some relation can be not irreflexive, some relations can be both not reflexive and not irreflexive as well. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This set we can consider as reflexive. Then can we have like this? Suppose this is reflexive, this is irreflexive. Can we have like this?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because
intersection is not there.
intersection should not be there. So reflexive, then irreflexive. Now some relations which are not reflexive, those can be irreflexive. Some relations which are not reflexive, those may not be irreflexive. So like this we can have we can consider some intersection with this. Let us say like this. These can be relations. Okay, this particular one, you consider this one. Okay, these can be
irreflexive.
yeah, those are let us sorry yeah, this set can be not reflexive, in the sense some of the not reflexive relations are irreflexive, but not all. Similar kind of thing we can argue here as well. Some of the not irreflexive relations are reflexive, but not all. And now we can have intersection between these two. Yes or no? Some of the not reflexive, some of the what you call not irreflexive relations are same.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Yeah, like this we can understand this one. Yeah. Next, we can equality relation, in the sense there is a notion called equality. Of course, nothing is that, just if the relation is defined, relation delta is defined as a comma a for every a belongs to capital A, then it is called equality. Only those tuples will be part of the relation, then we can say it as equality. Then other than these, like a is equal to 1 2 3 4, then what will be the tuples in delta? Only 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4, only 4 tuples we will be having in delta. That is called equality relation. Next, if other than these 4 remaining all tuples are part of the relation, then such kind of relation we call it as inequality relation. Understand? A comma b. Now this a comma whatever the equality relation we have, that is reflexive definitely. Why? Because only these tuples we have. What is the requirement to claim a relation as reflexive?
Every element should belongs to itself.
Yeah, every element should be related to itself, so equality relation will satisfy that condition, so it is reflexive. Similarly, inequality relation, in the sense if will not be related to itself, so we can say this inequality relation as irreflexive. Why? Because no tuple will be of the form a comma a. A comma a will not be belongs to this inequality relation, so we can claim this one as the irreflexive. Okay. Next, empty relation, in the sense we will not be having any vertical tuples in this relation. Then R is not reflexive. Why? Because for every any element, this tuple a comma a does not belongs to R. What's the condition to claim it as reflexive? For every element a belongs to a comma a should belongs to R, but nothing is present in this R, so we can on this basis we can say it as not reflexive. Can we consider it as irreflexive? Means, what is the constraint for irreflexive? No pair of the form a comma a. So here we don't have any pair of the form a comma a. Of course, we don't have any pair itself, any tuple itself in the relation, so we can consider it as irreflexive. Got my point? Yes. Shall I repeat the last point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Empty relation, in the sense we will not be having any tuples in it. Now our question is whether it is reflexive or not reflexive or irreflexive. What kind of relation it is? Empty relation, in the sense we will not be having any tuples, so this condition will not be satisfied, right? A comma a belongs to R for every a belongs to a. This condition will be failed, so it is not reflexive definitely. Is it clear till this point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next, what is the condition for irreflexive? No pair should be of form a comma a. So are we having any pair of the form a comma a in this relation, empty relation?
No, sir.
No. So it is satisfying irreflexive condition, so we can consider this as the irreflexive relation. That's it. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yeah. Next, how we can identify this reflexive relation, whether the relation is the reflexive relation or irreflexive relation by using matrix representation? This is the question. Earlier we have seen with respect to tuple what you call representation, like r is equal to 1 comma 1 1 comma 2 2 comma 1 2 comma 2, like that we will be having relation, we will be representing in the form of tuples. Then how we could able to determine is whether all the tuples are present, all the tuples of the form a comma a are present in the R or not, we can check and we can say it is reflexive. Or if not present, if no pair of the form a comma a is present, then we can say it is irreflexive. But same thing how we could able to determine in the form of matrix representation. Same relation we can represent, right? Matrix in the matrix form. So reflexive relation in the sense we will be having a comma a, that is 1 comma 1, we will be having correspondingly 1. 2 comma 2 will be having corresponding entry as 1. 3 comma 3 corresponding entry as 1. Yes or no? If it is reflexive, then all these entries will be filled with 1. Yes or no? If a relation is reflexive, then in the matrix representation of it, we will be having all ones in the principal diagonal. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So by using that, we can determine whether the relation is reflexive or not. Similarly, if the relation is not, if the relation is irreflexive, then
Every diagonal element is 0.
yeah, principal diagonal elements will be 0. Next, if combination is there, then
Neither reflexive nor irreflexive.
yeah, it is not reflexive, it is not irreflexive as well. Yes. So by using matrix representation, we can identify whether the relation is reflexive or irreflexive. Next, what is the third representation for a relation? What is the third representation? In 2-3 classes we have discussed this.
Symmetric.
No. Third representation of the relation. Relation can be represented in the form of tuples, in the form of matrix. Another one is
Graph.
What kind of graph? Digraph, right? Directed graph. So by using digraph, how we can identify whether the relation is reflexive or irreflexive? Suppose if we are having several vertices in the digraph, we'll be having vertices, right? A comma a is belongs to a, in the sense how we will indicate in the digraph. A comma a belongs to R, in the sense we will be having self loop. Yes or no? Similarly, B comma A belongs to R means we will be having directed edge from B to B itself. Similarly, C to C will be having self loop. Similarly, D to D will be having self loop. Yes or no? Suppose A comma B belongs to R, then we will be having directed edge from A to B. If B to C, if we have directed edge, then B comma C belongs to R. Similarly, A comma A belongs to R, in the sense we will be having self loop. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, in order to identify whether the relation is reflexive or not, by using digraph representation, what we have to check? On every vertex, if we have self loop, then we can claim it as reflexive. If no vertex is having self loop, then we can claim it as irreflexive. If some vertices are having self loop, then
not reflexive, not irreflexive.
Yeah, it is not reflexive and it is not irreflexive as well. That's it. Okay, this is about how we can identify what is meant by reflexive, what is meant by irreflexive, and how we can identify by using these three representations. So depending upon the application, which one is more easier to find, that sort of representation we will prefer. Although three representations are available, out of these, according to the application, we will use which representation to be what you call more suitable. Next, coming to other relations, other properties of relations like symmetric, asymmetric, antisymmetric. These three also we have seen in the previous class. So let us recall with some examples so that it will be clear to you. Symmetric, the name itself indicating if A is related to B, then B should also be related to A. Then we can say it is symmetric. Clear? If A is related to B, then B is also related to A, then we can say it is symmetric relation. Suppose 1 comma 1 is there, 1 comma 2 is there. Is this symmetric? Is this relation symmetric?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because we don't
2
have
comma
2
1
comma
is-
1. If you have 2 comma 1, can we consider it as symmetric?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Suppose we are having these three. In addition to these three, we are having one more 3 comma 4. Now, is it symmetric?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because for 3 comma 4, we don't have 4 comma 3 symmetric pair in the relation, so it is not symmetric. Okay. Now we have seen what is symmetric and what is not symmetric. Okay. Now you consider asymmetric relation. Asymmetric in the sense A is related to B and B is not, B should not be related to A. Then we can say such kind of relation as asymmetric. Okay, now you consider the same relation 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 4. Can we consider it as asymmetric?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because it is violating, right? 1 comma 2, 2 comma 1. It is symmetric pair. So it is violating. Suppose we don't have 1 comma 2. Can we consider it as asymmetric?
No, sir.
No. What is violating?
1 comma 1.
1 comma 1. So 1 comma 1 also should not be part of this relation. Then we can claim it as asymmetric. So asymmetric relation will be having the property that if A is related to B, then B should not be related to A. Then it is asymmetric. Next, what is meant by not asymmetric? Not asymmetric in the sense, for some A and B, A is related to B and B is related to A. For some, okay, for everything, if it is satisfied, then we can consider it as symmetric. For every pair of the form A comma B, B comma A is also part of B comma A is also part of the relation, then we can consider it as symmetric. But for some only, if this condition is satisfied, then we can consider it as not asymmetric. Why? Because it is not satisfying the property of asymmetric. Clear? Like reflexive, not reflexive, irreflexive, and not irreflexive. Like that we are having here 4. Next, consider, any doubt ma so far? Yes, any doubt? Shall I repeat? But don't waste time.
No, sir. Clear.
Okay. Next, consider antisymmetric. Antisymmetric, the name indicating that it is somewhat related to symmetric, right? So how it is related is like if A is related to B, then B is related to A. Okay, if these two conditions are satisfied, then A must be equal to B. Then only this kind of symmetric pair should be present. So now you consider A comma B, that is 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 4. Now is it antisymmetric or not? Is it antisymmetric? 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 4 is there?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because
1 comma 2, 2 comma 1 are there.
yeah, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 1 is the symmetric pair, but 1 is not equal to 2. So it is violating. Suppose if you exclude this 1 comma 1, 3 comma 4 only there, can we consider it as antisymmetric?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Why? Because this is the only symmetric pair and here 1 is equal to 1. So we can consider this as antisymmetric. Similarly, what is not antisymmetric? We have A and B such that A is not equal to B, but we are having A is related to B and B is related to A. Then we can consider it as like 1 comma 2, 2 comma 1 pair is also, this symmetric pair is also part of the relation. Then we can consider it as not antisymmetric. Now let us consider some of the examples. And this is the relation. Relation is defined on the set of integers r is equal to a comma b. Okay, a comma b belongs to a Cartesian product a. What is the condition to be satisfied? A less than b. Now we have to check whether it is a symmetric, whether it is asymmetric or antisymmetric. Now for symmetric relation, if a is less than b, like 1 is less than 2, can we consider b is related to a, that is 2 is less than 1? Try to understand. Z is nothing, a is nothing but a set of integers. So we can consider z a as 1 2 3 4 so on, let us say 1 2 3 4. Now what are the pairs that we can have in R? Suppose if we have a comma b, 1 comma 2, 1 is related to 2. Okay, fine. Now b comma a in the sense 2 comma 1. Now what should be the condition to be satisfied? 2 less than 1. Is it true?
No, sir.
No. So can we have 2 comma 1 in our pair, in our relation?
No, sir.
No. If that is the case, then 1 comma 2 should not be present in order to claim it as the symmetric. 1 comma 2, if 1 comma 2 is present, 2 comma 1 must be present, but there is no possibility to have 2 comma 1. So 1 comma 2 also should not be part, but according to this condition, 1 comma 2 is part of this. So can we consider it as symmetric relation?
No, sir.
No. So it is not symmetric. Next, asymmetry property. Asymmetric in the sense, if 2 comma what you call some numbers like 2 and 5, let us say 2 is less than 5, then 5 less than 2 should not be part of the relation. That is 2 comma 5 is part of the relation, then 5 comma 2 should not be part of the relation. Yes or no? For any two numbers you consider, if 2 is a is less than b, then b less than a will be false, so it will not be part of the relation. A comma b part of the relation, then b comma a will not be part of the relation. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So can we consider it as asymmetric?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it is asymmetric. Next, what about antisymmetric? Antisymmetric in the sense, whenever the pair is part of the relation, like a is less than b and b is less than a, then a must be equal to b. Is this true for any numbers? 2 is less than 2. No. 2 is less than 3. Yes. But 3 is less than 2. This is false. So this condition will not arise, right?
Yes, sir.
Why? Because it is a asymmetric relation. We will not be having any pairs like a less than b and b less than a will not be part. Okay, if a less than b is part, then b less than a will not be part. B comma a will not be part of the relation. So it is not. It will not be part of the relation. Yes or no? So now antisymmetry property is what? Whenever those two are equal, okay, that is a comma b and b comma a are part of the relation, then a must be equal to b. This is what the condition. But is there any possibility to have a comma b and b comma a as part of the relation by satisfying this property?
No, sir.
No. So this kind of pair itself will not arise. So this condition we no need to check. Directly we can claim that it as antisymmetric. Got it? How we are claiming it as antisymmetric? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like this, several examples you could examine. Just I will tell you another one, like yeah, this one. A is equal to 1 2 3 4. R is defined like this. Now we are not having 1 comma 2 and the symmetric pair for 1 comma 2 is 2 comma 1, which is not present in this, so it is not symmetric. Straight away we can say. Next, whether it is asymmetric. Asymmetric in the sense we should not have 1 comma 2. Yes or no? We should not have 1 comma 2 comma 2, sorry, 2 comma 2 should not be present, so it is not asymmetric as well. Next, finally, whether it is anti-symmetric in the sense whether we are having any symmetric pairs in this. 1 comma 2 we don't have symmetric pair. 2 comma 2, yes. 2 comma 2, for 2 comma 2, 2 comma 2 itself is symmetric pair, so we can consider, is it satisfying the property of anti-symmetric? Yes. Next, 3 comma 4 we don't have symmetric pair. 4 comma 1 we don't have symmetric pair. So whenever a comma b is part of the relation, b comma a is also part of the relation, a is equal to b. So 2 comma 2 is the one which is satisfying this property, so we can consider it as anti-symmetric. Clear? Yes.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yeah. Now consider how we can identify this by using matrix representation. By using this tuple representation, we could able to identify whether a comma b, b comma a is present or not for every pair a comma b, or some these conditions we could able to examine by using tuple relationship, tuple what you call representation, and we can determine whether it is symmetric or asymmetric or anti-symmetric. Now by using matrix representation, how we could able to identify is, suppose you consider symmetric relationship is there, like we are having a comma b. Let us say a is here, b is here, so a comma b correspondingly 1 we have. Okay, then b comma a should also be present in this. So b comma a, in the sense we will be having b here, a here, then corresponding value will be filled with 1. Yes or no? Then we can claim it as symmetric. Suppose you consider 2 here and 4 here. 2 comma 4 entry is 1, that is 2 comma 4 is part of the relation. Then 4 comma 2, so 4 and 2 will be having 1. Yes or no? How we can determine a relation as symmetric relation? By using matrix representation. This is the question. Any idea?
The matrix should be symmetric matrix.
Symmetric matrix in the sense, what's the property?
Above diagonal is equal to below diagonal.
In other words, of course, in other words, symmetric matrix, one direct property will be, suppose A is the matrix which is a symmetric matrix, then A transpose equal to
A.
A. A transpose equal to A, then we can consider it as symmetric matrix. So same property we can use here to identify relation as a symmetric relation or not by using matrix representation. Is it clear? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next, consider asymmetric relation. By using matrix representation, asymmetric, how we can identify? Asymmetric. If AB is part of the relation, then B comma A should not be part of the relation. That's what these corresponding entries Aij, let us consider capital Aij. If Aij is equal to 1, then what's the condition to be checked? Aji should be 0. Then we can consider the relation as asymmetric. Yes or no? What is this Aij? This is the matrix called A. I is the row.
I throw
Jth column. Yeah, I throw jth column entry. If it is 1, then jth row ith column should be 0. Then only we can consider I comma j. If I comma j pair is part of the tuple is part of the relation, then j comma I is not part of the relation. If it is satisfied for every I and j, we can say the relation as
asymmetric.
Asymmetric. Similarly, how we can identify for antisymmetric? Antisymmetric, what is the relation? Aij equal to 1 and ji equal to 1. Okay, aij equal to 1 and aji equal to 1, then I is equal to j. This is the condition. Yes or no? Aij equal to 1, aji equal to 1, then I is equal to, I should be equal to 1, then only we can consider it as antisymmetric. So by using these conditions, we could able to identify whether the relation is symmetric or antisymmetric. Clear? Yes, any doubt, ma? Yes, any doubt? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now let us consider, of course, these things you can go through. If the matrix is given to you, whether it is a symmetric or antisymmetric or asymmetric, you have to find. Now, out of these, any symmetric relations are there? Symmetric in the sense, just diagonals, we have to check. Any symmetric relations are there? Hmm. This is symmetric, yes or no? Is this symmetric relation or not? MR5.
No, sir.
No? Why?
Below diagonal, they are not symmetric, sir.
Okay. Next, MR6.
No, sir.
Next, MR4.
No, sir.
Okay. MR3.
No.
Okay. MR1.
Symmetric.
It is symmetric. So, MR1 is symmetric. Next, MR2. Are there any asymmetric? You tell. Are there any asymmetric? Just one last example. Are there any asymmetric relations?
F is asymmetric, sir. F.
F. Asymmetric.
Yes,
Correct?
sir. MR6.
Yes, MR6 is asymmetric. Why? Because of whatever the ones we have, correspondingly we are having 0. That is sufficient to claim that it is asymmetric. Yes, like that, by giving given a matrix representation of a relation, we could able to identify whether it is symmetric or asymmetric or anti-symmetric. Okay. These you please go through the description here so that you will get more idea about this. Yeah. Next, consider we are having a comma b as part of the relation. Okay. Next, we are having b comma c also part of the relation. Okay, a comma b is part of the relation, b comma c is part of the relation, then a comma c is also part of the relation. In the sense, I will give one example, like r we are having, we have defined as this pipe symbol, this divides relationship which we have seen earlier. You remember, divides relationship, a is related to b like this, a divides b. Do you remember this? 4 divides, can we say 2?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So like this, we can define r I am saying as divides relationship. Now we are saying 16 is 16 divides 4. Okay, sorry, 16 divides 4. That means 16 comma 4 belongs to r. Next, 4 divides 2. That means 4 comma 2 belongs to r. Can we say 16 divides 2? Yes or no? Is it true? if this is true, then can we claim like this?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Similar to that, if A comma B belongs to R, B comma C belongs to R, then A comma C is also belongs to R. If this particular condition is satisfied, that is, whenever A comma B and B comma C belongs to R, then A comma C must be belongs to R. Then we can say such kind of relation as transitive relation. I'm repeating once again. A comma B, B comma C belongs to R. Then A comma C must be belongs to R. Then we can say such kind of relation as transitive relation. Okay. So if you consider A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, then R is defined as 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3. Next 2 comma 4. Can we consider it as a transitive relation? 1 comma 1 is there, 1 comma 2 is there, then 2 comma 1 comma 3 is there, then 2 comma 4 is there. Can we consider it as transitive relation?
No,
Here
sir.
what can be, yes or no?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because 1 comma 2 is there, then 2 comma 4 is there. These two are of the form A comma B, B comma C. But 1 comma 4 pair is not present in this relation, so it is not a transitive relation. If 1 comma 4 is also part of the relation, then we can say it as a transitive relation. Is it clear? Yes?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yeah. So this is the example. Here you can observe R is equal to 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, 4 comma 2. Can we consider it as a transitive?
No, sir.
Transitive. Is there any two tuples are of the form A comma B, B comma C? A comma B, B comma C. That means these two should be same. These two should be same. No, right? If there is no such kind of combination like A comma B, here you consider A comma B, B comma C. Then A comma C should be present. But we don't have A comma B, then B comma C. We are having independently A comma B, but B comma C pair is not there in this relation. You can observe here. Where it is? Yeah. A comma B, if you consider it as 1 comma 2, are we having B comma C anywhere? B comma C in the sense it should start with 2. But we don't have such kind of pair. You consider A comma B as 1 comma 3. Are we having any pair which is starting with 3? No. Next 4 comma 2 you consider. What is B here? 2. Are we having any pair which is starting with B? No. So if A comma B and B comma C both are present, then A comma C must be present. But that condition itself will not, that situation itself will not arise. So we can consider it as a transitive. Understand? Suppose 2 comma 4 is there in this relation. We are having 2 comma 4 as well. Can we consider it as transitive? Suppose 2 comma 4 is there. Can we consider it as transitive? No. Why? Because 1 comma 2, then 2 comma 4 is there. 1 comma 4 should be present, but it is not present. So we cannot claim it as a transitive relation. On the other hand, we can give other example like 4 comma 2 is there, 2 comma 4 is there. Then what must be present? 4 comma 2 is there, 2 comma 4 is there. What must be present in the relation? 4 comma 4. But it is not present, so it is not transitive. With this inclusion, it will lose the property of transitive. So this is the example, and you can observe here whatever the thing we have discussed, like A is A divides B, then B divides C, then we can claim that A divides C. So for all the numbers, all the positive numbers, we can consider positive integers, we can consider this property will satisfy. So we can consider it as transitive relation. Yes, R is transitive. This is another example. Next, how we can determine this transitive relationship in the form of what you call matrix. If matrix is used to represent this relation, then how we can claim the given relation is transitive is we will calculate MR2. We know how to calculate MR2, right? MR2 dot product. How we can calculate MR dot product, then MR, that is MR2, right? So how we can find that one? Just we like matrix multiplication only we will do, but if one is matched to another one, then we will be having correspondingly one. Why? Because this particular matrix representation of the relation will contain only ones and zeros, so in the resultant also we will be having only ones and zeros. So like that we can calculate MR2. Whatever the MR2 we will obtain, if that is equal to MR, then we can consider it as transitive. If MR2 is equal to MR, then we can claim the relation R as transitive. That is the shortcut that we can use. Like A transpose equal to A means, or MR transpose equal to MR, then we can consider it as symmetric. Similar to that, if we have MR2 as MR, then we can consider it as what's the answer? Then we can consider it as, yes,
Transitive.
transitive. Yeah. So I think you are clear with these properties. First property which we have seen is reflexive. Next, second one is irreflexive. Next, third one, symmetric.
Symmetric.
Fourth one,
Asymmetric.
fifth,
Antisymmetric.
anti-symmetric. Next, sixth,
Transitive.
transitive. Yeah. Now an important definition we'll be seeing now, called equivalence relation. The relation is said to be equivalence whenever it satisfies this first one, that is reflexive, third one, that is symmetric, and the sixth one, that is transitive. If the relation is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive, then we can say that relation as equivalence relation. Understand the definition of equivalence? Yes. Equivalence relation. A relation on a set A is called equivalence relation if it is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Then we can consider it as equivalence relation. Now you consider one example here. Okay, this you cannot understand now. I will describe this in the next class. You consider this. R is equal to 1, 1, 1, 2. Like this, we are having a relation on this particular set 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, whether it is equivalence or not, how we can check? First of all, whether it is reflexive or not, we have to check. 1, 1 is there. 2, 2, yes. 3, 3, yes. 4, 4, yes. So it is reflexive. Straight away we can say. Now we have to check whether it is symmetric or not. Symmetric in the sense 1, 2 is there, 2, 1 is there. Okay. 3, 4, 4, 3 is there. So remaining all are like 3, 3, 4, 4 only. So we need not worry about that. So is it symmetric or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now we have to check whether it is transitive or not. So 1, 2 is there, 2, 1 is there. So what is the pair that we need to have? What is the tuple we should have?
1,
With this
1.
1, 1. We have that. Next, 2, 2 is there. 2, 1 is there. 2, 2, 2, 1. These two also we can consider. Then 2, 1 must be present. Yes or no? 2, 2 is there. 2, 1. So 2, what is the pair we should have?
2, 1.
2, 1. Are we having 2, 1? Yes. Yes or no? Next,
Yes.
you consider 3, 4, 4, 3. What is the pair we should have? 3, 3. We have that. Next, similarly, 4, 4, 4, 3 you consider. 4, 3 must be present, which is already there. Like that, any two pairs, if you consider of the form a comma b, b comma c, a comma c will be present in this relation, so we can consider it as a transitive. Already we have checked whether it is a symmetric or not, whether it is a reflexive or not. So these two satisfied, and third one also satisfied. So we can consider, or we can claim this as equivalence relation. Clear? Yes, any doubt?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. Next, another example. A is z, that is integers, set of integers, and the relation is defined as less than or equal to. A is related to b if A is less than or equal to b. Now, can we consider it as reflexive? Whether it is reflexive or not? Reflexive, whether you consider A as 1, 2, 3, 4, any set, then we will be having A less than or equal to A, that will be satisfied. So it is reflexive. Next, consider symmetric. If A is less than or equal to B, that is 1 is less than or equal to 2, then 2 is less than or equal to 1. That may not be true. 2 is less than or equal to 1. That may not be true. So we cannot claim for every pair A comma B, we will be having B comma A is also part of the relation. So it is not symmetric. If it is not symmetric, straight away we can conclude that it is not equivalence relation. Okay, but before concluding, let us discuss whether let us check whether it is transitive or not. Like we are having A less than or equal to B, and B is less than or equal to C. Now what is the condition to be satisfied? A less than or equal to C. Yes or no? A less than or equal to C. So whether it will satisfy or not for every integers. 2 is less than or equal to 5. 5 is less than or equal to 8. Then can we consider it as can we consider 2 is less than or equal to 8?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we can consider it as a transitive. Although it is reflexive and transitive, but it is not symmetric. So it is not an equivalence relation. Clear? Yes. Okay. Any doubt, ma, so far? Okay. Okay, then you can enter your roll number and can leave, ma. Thank you. In the next class, we will be seeing the topics related to this